Hey guys, welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. I'm going to be talking about another horror film today, keeping with the horror theme. I got my Chucky shirt on here. It's like the animated Chucky from Spirit Halloween. Uh, Today I'm going to be talking about the movie Creep, which came out in 2014 and was directed by Patrick Bryce. It was written by Patrick Bryce and Mark Duplass, and it stars them, and only them, Patrick Bryce and Mark Duplass. This movie is really incredible in my opinion. I'm a fan of found footage horror movies, and this is one of those. It's shot from the camera perspective of first person. I don't know what the budget was for this movie. I tried to look it up on IMDb. I tried to Google it. I couldn't find it. So please, if you happen to know what the budget was, please write it in the comments. I'm just curious. I mean, it looks like it was made for pretty much nothing. It's just two guys using a camera and a remote cabin in the woods and, one other house, small house, and that's it. So it couldn't have been much. But in any event, I think it's cool that this movie was picked up by Blumhouse, or a division of Blumhouse called Blumhouse Tilt. So that's neat that Jason Blum, who's a big name in horror production, put his name on this film to get it out there. And so, like I said, I there's something different about this one. Now, we've all seen found footage, right? Of course, one of the most famous being the Blair Witch Project, then the Paranormal Activity franchise, the Spanish film Wreck, and then the American remake Quarantine. I mean, there's countless found footage movies, a lot that I'm not even going to mention right now because we're talking about Creep. Creep is okay, so Creep basically tells the story of this guy Aaron who takes a job off Craigslist to drive up to this like remote location somewhere in the mountains. I don't think the state is ever named, but he doesn't really know much about this job. I wrote down some notes here too. It's set in 2012. Yeah, Aaron takes this job knowing nothing except that he's going to be filming a client for a day, and the job ad says that he's going to get paid for it, something like $1,000, maybe even more. Correct me if I'm wrong there. So he's driving and he's talking to himself as he's driving up there, kind of anticipating who he's going to meet and what the job really is. So he's doing it for the money like anybody would. So he gets to this cabin, this address that he's told to go to. He knocks on the door, no answer. He decides he's going to wait in his car. He's about to leave. He's like, all right, I don't think anybody's showing up. And then we get this knock, right? This, as we found out later in the movie, the creep, who's a total freaking pathological liar, maniac, stalker, who the title references. He calls himself Joseph. We don't know if that's really his name or not, but he pops up at the car window, and yeah, Aaron feels he's off right away. Joseph right away is saying to him like, "Oh my God, this is going to be a great day." He gives him a high five and a hug and all this stuff. He's like, "Oh, that's not going to be anything weird by the end of the day." Okay, like dude, you just met me. Aaron should be like, we just met, like, no hugging. But that's the thing about Aaron. He's very empathetic, he's very trusting, and a guy like Joseph here knows exactly how to play off those emotions. He knows exactly how to feed on his empathy, how to manipulate him, and how to take advantage. And that's what got me about this movie. Mark Duplass plays this role so well. So it's so intense. There are scenes there where he's just looking at the camera, where he's kind of messing with Aaron's head, and he's telling him stuff, and he's not even blinking. He's not even flinching. He's just got this creepy ass deadpan look on his face with no emotion that I can tell. So, but we'll get to that. So, Joseph gives Aaron this whole story about how he is a cancer survivor. He's a cancer survivor, but the cancer has come back. And he's hired Aaron because he wants to make a video diary for his unborn son. All right. Kind of a weird request, but Aaron goes along with it. He's silent. You can kind of like, Patrick Bryce is so good at the subtlety because you don't see his face. The camera's on Joseph. It's on Mark Duplass as Joseph is telling Aaron this whole thing about, yeah, I really just want you to document me as I am. I want my son to see me as I was, all this stuff. And he pulls Aaron right in there. Aaron's like, sure, let's do it. Let me just look at my notes here. yeah, he's apprehensive, but he agrees to do it anyway. He agrees to record him for the day. He's probably thinking, how bad can it be? So, I don't want to make this review super long, but as it goes on, as his time with Joseph goes on, more and more thing he's just his behavior is more odd. It's more eccentric and weird. I mean, the guy is super weird. Tubby time. I wrote down tubby time is fucking disturbing, and it is. So there's a scene where Joseph gets in the bathtub and he's pretending to like bathe his unborn child. Like he's doing hand gestures and he's like pouring the water and stuff, and it's just fucking like so weird. If anybody did that, I would be out. Like I don't know why Aaron stayed. I really don't. I'd be like goodbye. But he sits there and he lets it happen, and then Joseph says this really deep, dark thing about ending it all and stuff like that. He pretends to drown himself, and even then, like Aaron, yeah, Aaron is just passive. Like he's kind of like Joseph, Joseph, like he is concerned, but not nearly. He's like this guy. He doesn't know this guy from a hole in the wall, and the guy's going on like, what if he's really trying to kill himself or something? But then Joseph pops up out of the tub and he does this weird thing. He has this maniacal laughter. It's almost like a Joker kind of laugh, like that Arthur Fleck kind of laugh, awkward laugh, and he does it throughout the film because he pulls these little jump scares on Aaron. So he's like, "Oh, I was just messing around. I have a weird sense of humor." Aaron lets it go. I guess he really wants this money, whatever, right? So, I mean, what do you do? What do you do? Let's discuss this in the comments. What do you do if you're in that situation? All right, so you're a videographer. You know, you're trying to pay your rent, so you take this. You respond to this ad, and this guy he is a creep, right? He seems creepy from the jump. He he he's offbeat. He's socially awkward. He's going from one emotion to the next. Like he's going from hugging to talking about dark things to laughing. It's weird. It's very weird. What would you guys do? I want to know how you would handle this situation because I don't know how the fuck I would handle this situation. So let me just move on here. Yeah, so I wrote down a note here about Joseph being narcissistic. And I wrote down Joseph narcissism shows while he's trying to reassure Aaron. I don't know what I meant by that when I was writing it, but yeah, Joseph is totally narcissistic. He really thinks he's good enough to have a video of himself made. Like he compares himself to Michael Keaton. He's like, "Oh, I want this to be just like this movie My Life with Michael Keaton." He wants attention. He wants to be noticed, Joseph. But he's also a killer, right? Oh yeah, the peach fuzz scene. So Aaron's now completely completely scared by him. He agrees to go on this walk with him, and so he goes into the closet. Joseph's like, "Oh, grab a jacket," and he gets this creepy ass wolf mask with these teeth and stuff. And he's like, "Oh, that's just Peach Fuzz," and he does this dance, this creepy little dance. I can't get it out of my head because you want to laugh, but you're horrified that this guy is acting so bizarre. And Aaron lets that go. This is what frustrates me about Aaron, and I'm gonna just jump ahead here because the thing that annoys me about Aaron, I mean, I'm a nice guy, right? To a fault. You can be a nice person to a total stranger, but Aaron lets so much go throughout this movie. He lets so much. Later in the movie, when Joseph starts stalking him, Aaron he's like, he should be getting somebody else involved. He tries to get the cops involved. It doesn't happen. But like, you don't call your friends, you don't call your family, you don't like leave your house. I'll get to that. I'm kind of all over the place here, but he's way too lenient, Aaron, for sure. Um, so the peach fuzz scene happens. Joseph puts on this mask and says that, what does he say? Something about his dad. Joseph has a thing about wolves, and I wrote something about them, which I'll get to. Yeah, so Joseph repeatedly jump scares Aaron. I talked about that. So they're walking in the woods, and he says to Aaron that he noticed a visceral reaction. He says to Aaron, "There's an animal in you." He says, "There's an animal in you," meaning he says to him, "Oh, when there's like an axe that he passes by outside of the cabin." And he says to Aaron, "When you saw that axe, did you think I might kill you with it?" And he goes, "Yeah." And he laughs again, and he's like, "Oh, he did?" He's like, "Yeah, but I didn't know you then." And he also asks him, did you, when I scared you, I saw this look in your eyes. And he says, there might be a little peach fuzz inside you yet. There's an animal in you. So something about Joseph, he's attracted to maniacal behavior. He's attracted to disturbing behavior. Now, I think Aaron just reacted scared and defensive because that's what anybody would do. I don't think Aaron reacted in the way that Joseph is talking about. I think Joseph has serious problems and he's projecting them onto Aaron. He's trying to convince Aaron that he has this instinct to be violent like he himself is. But I don't think Aaron is that. I think Joseph is completely insane, and he's trying to lure Aaron further in by making now this weird analogy about a wolf. So he's totally out of his mind. Aaron continues hanging with Joseph, even though what? Even though he knows he's off. Yeah, okay. So he puts up with him. He tolerates him. He keeps hanging out with him. And did we get up to the scene? Oh yeah, then they go to the pancake thing, right? So Joseph tells Aaron, "Oh, are you hungry?" So they have this walk in the woods. They go to this supposed healing creek that Joseph says that there's a myth behind it, that it could heal. It has healing powers. It could heal his supposed tumor and stuff like that. So they find this creek. It apparently is real, but I don't know. What do you guys think? Did Joseph know about it? Did he happen to just luckily stumble upon it? Is he making it all up? What do you think? What do you think Joseph's intention was with there? Because it seems like there was something real in that moment. Like he was definitely attempting to connect with Aaron over something, by taking him on this walk to look at this little creek. Like that trip into the woods wasn't for nothing, because he leads him out of it. If he wanted to kill Aaron, he could have done it right there, right? But they got out of the woods, and he says, "You hungry? I'm buying lunch." So, and that's the thing about Joseph. As crazy as he is, he's also got this warm side to him. He's also charming. And I remember watching the film, the first time I watched it, I was just like in awe of Mark Duplass's performance. I'm like, wow, this guy is so crazy. And I know how this kid Aaron feels, because you he's like, you're so transfixed by him that you just can't look away, but you're so scared at the same time, and you can't look away because you don't know what he's going to do or say next. The whole thing is just so uncomfortable. And that's the brilliance of the movie. It's really just these two guys on camera. That's all. There's no score. There's no music. It's just them in this found footage style narrative film. So they go to this pancake place. He goes, "Oh, I used to go here with my family all the time." And then you see them sitting down, and Aaron's like, he's looking at the menu. He's like, "What's good here? What's good here?" And Aaron's like, "Didn't you say you used to come here all the time with your family?" And he's like, "Oh, yeah, no. I'm just, yeah, no, we all go for the pancakes, but I just haven't been here in a while, so I'm looking." And that's when Joseph, pancake place. Yeah. Joseph really starts to display his true stalkerish nature, because he admits stalker tendencies by revealing to Aaron that he took pictures of him. He was in that cabin the whole time, when at the start of the film, when Aaron was going up the stairs there and waiting for him to answer. He was actually inside the cabin the whole time, and he's taking photos of him as he's getting out of his car, walking up the stairs, all this stuff. And again, Aaron, my man, just leave, say, "Okay, I'm done." But he's like, "Oh, okay, it's weird, but I can let it go." Like, really? I kind of don't feel bad for Aaron. I really don't, because you had so many chances to get away. He had so many chances to do something about Joseph and to get away throughout the film. If I can state one negative, and it's not even a criticism of the film, but it's a criticism of Aaron. Like, he's too nice. He's too nice. I guess he's never been hurt by anybody in the past. I don't know. Like, I guess he doesn't see the red flags here. I don't know how you could not. I guess he just doesn't see the fact that he's sitting next to a monster, and that he's lured into this basically psychological trap here. Yeah. So they move past that, and that's the scene where, so Mark Duplass is looking at the camera, and he's being apologetic, or feigning apology for doing that to Aaron. And that's what creeped me out. I was like looking at him, I was like, wow, this is a good probably 2 minutes here. This guy's not blinking. His expression isn't changing. He's just like, I don't know. Like, I think in that scene, Joseph really can't feel the emotion of being sorry. He's just sort of saying it to say it because he's like, oh, I gotta, now that I said it, I have to sort of apologize because it's the human thing to say. I don't think he really means it or knows how to apologize. He's just trying to think he, is going to get closer to Aaron. So Aaron says, okay. And I wrote down, Aaron should have left when he had the chance. Yes, 100%. He should have left probably 5 minutes into the film when Joseph's giving him this assignment of making this video diary and his behavior is just off. But I guess he really needs the money, so. But after the pancake situation and that whole thing, when he knows he's dealing with a full-blown weirdo, creep, Joseph invites him up to drink, and he's like, I think I'm gonna go. It's a long drive. But he doesn't say it forcefully. He's just like, oh yeah, I think I'm gonna head back. And there's that now iconic scene that's the poster of the film where Joseph's standing on top of the steps, and it's dark, so you just see his silhouette because the light's behind him. And maybe that scene could represent Joseph's power, right? Because Aaron's down at the bottom of the steps, Joseph's at the top, and it's just an interesting way, like Joseph being in control. I don't know if that was really intended, but it's kind of like he's up here, Aaron's down here. Just for context, my hand. So he's at the top of the staircase, Aaron's down here, like Joseph's kind of the ruler, okay? Joseph's got him. It's like his psyche is controlling Aaron's psyche. I don't know if that's really the intent with that shot, but it's a great shot. And it's the poster of the film. So he talks Aaron into staying, and he's like, this is great. A couple guys having a couple whiskeys. And this is the weird scene where Joseph tells him about the thing that he did to his wife. So Joseph asks Aaron to turn the camera off. Aaron leaves it running with no video. He's just got the audio going. And Joseph tells Aaron about the browser history, the internet browser history. He goes into detail about something sexual that he did with his wife. He makes up this whole basically rape story. He says, oh, I raped my own wife. And that he talks about the peach fuzz mask. Doesn't he? Does he talk about the peach fuzz mask? He says he puts on an animal mask. He says, oh, my browser history was full of animal porn, basically. And my wife wouldn't admit to it. And then we came up here to the cabin, and I left one night, and she didn't know it, but I put on a mask, and I snuck in. And he goes into more detail. I don't want to say it because of YouTube, but you get the point, right? So now Joseph has admitted to his stalker tendencies, right, to Aaron, saying that he's now taken photos of Aaron, and he's talking about what he did to his wife. Is it time to leave yet, Aaron? What do you think? So then Aaron does decide. He's like, okay, we did it. It's all done, great. You got your video diary here. I'm gonna go. Can't find his keys. And he's panicked, but he's so nice that he's not flipping out on Joseph. He's just like, have you seen my keys? And then he gets a little bit more. He talks up a little bit. He's like, no, I want to go. Right? And Joseph says to him, you're over the limit. It's dark out here. It's a long walk back to your car. Gives him all these BS reasons why he can't go home. And like, fuck that. You're going to tell me I can't go home? I personally can't drive. So I'm Ubering, I'm walking, I'm doing whatever I have to get out of that situation. Like, why does Aaron continue to stay in this situation? I don't get it. I really don't get it. I get it. We wouldn't have a film if he didn't, right? But you've been with this stranger all day, and Joseph is talking about what a great day it's been, and Aaron's just going along with it. He's like, yeah, great day. I guess he's doing whatever he has to do to get paid. Oh, and before the scene where Joseph talks about the animal sex and stuff like that, he talks about wanting to give Aaron money. He's like, you having money problems? And Aaron, of course, is shy about that, so he's like, oh, I want to help you, Aaron. We're friends. Check your boot. There's a check in, look at your boot. There's a check in your boot. There's not really a check. And Joseph's trying to play again. He's trying to keep Aaron right there because he's dangling supposed money in front of his face now and wanting to help him and be his friend. And he has this, that's where the narcissism comes in, because he's like, why is everybody so uncomfortable about money? If you had an excess of food and I was hungry, wouldn't you give it to me? Yeah, you would, because you're kind and you're my friend. Like, he's turning it around. He's so good at gaslighting, this guy, Joseph. He's so good at it. And again, Mark Duplass, man, he just nails it. He so nails it. He's so good at being that asshole-ish kind of friend who seems weird, but too nice, too good to be true, where a vulnerable person could just fall so easily into his web, and that's what's happening here. So, okay, so that happened. Okay, so now we're up to Joseph. Joseph talks him into staying. Aaron's staying. And then, so they're drinking. They start drinking and everything, the whiskey. And Aaron gives him like a double shot of whiskey to get him really fucked up. Joseph passes out. And Aaron gets a call. Does Aaron get a call? Joseph? Aaron picks up a cell phone. It must be Joseph's cell phone. Sorry, guys. I'm blanking out on that moment in the film. But he picks up a cell phone while Joseph's sleeping, and it's Angela. And Aaron thinks it's Joseph's wife. It turns out it's Joseph's sister. And basically, so Aaron goes into the bathroom to whisper on the phone, and basically Angela tells Aaron that Joseph is dangerous, that it's her brother, that he didn't really rent that's not really his cabin, and Aaron needs to get out of there right now. So Aaron's freaking like shaking, he doesn't know. He's like, is this real? So he gets out of the bathroom, and of course the cell phone signal dies like right in the heat of their conversation. Kind of horror movie cliche, but it's okay. So he gets out of the bathroom, Joseph's gone, and then, all right, so I'm not going to do the blow by blow here, but so Aaron tries to leave. Joseph puts on that peach fuzz mask, another iconic scene in the film. And Aaron's like, so Joseph's now, maybe he has split personalities, I don't know. So he's got the peach fuzz wolf mask on, and he's like leaning against the door, and I guess he's like rubbing his ass against it, like he's kind of like gyrating. I don't know if that's what a wolf does, but so we cut away because Aaron is begging him to let him go. Joseph's just like creepily shaking his head no and stuff. And then Aaron charges at him, and then it cuts to black. So I'm like, oh, okay, is that the way it ends? Now, cut a couple weeks later, Aaron starts to get the stuff in the mail. He gets DVDs. Let me look at my notes here. Oh, back to Angela. Angela also reveals that Joseph made up the entire cancer story. So he's a pathological liar. He's just a total whack job. So now Aaron knows that. So Aaron does get out of the house. Joseph starts sending him stuff in the mail. We get the DVD with Joseph just digging the hole, not saying anything. And Aaron is now documenting himself and all this stuff. He's keeping like his own video diary of all this progression of events that's coming because of Joseph. So he gets the DVD with Joseph, Joseph digging the hole. The second I get a DVD like that, I wouldn't watch it completely. I would go straight to the police. I would go straight to the police. I'm not waiting around. I'm not feeling it out. I'm not, my empathy for however disturbed Joseph is or however sick he is or whatever, I don't care. I'm not sitting there and trying to understand why he's doing what he's doing. And that's what Aaron's doing here. He's like, I guess he cared for Joseph on some level, or he's too nice to just, call the guy for what he is, a sick fuck. So he's trying to, he's like analyzing these DVDs he's getting. He's like, so, Joseph crying hysterical, fake. Aaron still gives him sympathy. Yeah, so, oh, no. All right. Joseph, okay, Aaron throws out the DVD. Bad idea. I wrote down bad idea. Yeah, he throws out the DVD. He's disposing of the evidence, and he's not doing anything about it. So, like, my dude, what do you expect? This isn't going to stop with one DVD. The guy somehow figured out your address, and he's sending you threatening shit in the mail. You think he's going to stop there? Why would you throw out the DVD? Okay, the next thing he gets is the box. He gets this big, huge-ass box that says Fragile on his doorstep. Not with any return address, of course. And in there is the knife, the wolf stuffed animal, and the locket, eventually, that he finds. So he gets another DVD from Joseph. And he listens to him. He listens to... I wrote listens, like in big letters with underline. He listens to Joseph's shit, his nonsense, and he talks about what a good friend he thought he was, and how he was hurt by him, that he left him, all this crazy stuff, right? And he actually listens to him. He pulls out a big ass knife. Some random ass weirdo sent you a box, and there's a knife in there. What are you doing? How are you getting your freaking DNA all over the knife, right? And you're not freaked out about that? Like, he's not really showing it. I don't know. He's a really good person, I guess, Aaron. So Joseph, he listens to him, and he's like, I encourage you to open the wolf stuffed animal and see what's in there. And I wrote down what he wrote, what he says here. Joseph says, I love wolves because they love deeply. This wolf reminded me of you. There was baby murder in your eyes. So he talks again about their encounter in the woods and how Aaron got pissed off and I guess wanted to, kick Joseph's ass for continuing to scare him back when they were hanging out. So Joseph has a real thing for wolves, which he talks about, and he's of course he's interested in murder, so he wants to try to bring that out of Aaron. What do you guys think? Why does he keep bringing up this wolf fixation, and what is his real intention with Aaron here? Like, was he just going to kill him all along? Was he really looking for friendship? Is Joseph trying to somehow connect to another human being? Or is he just a crazy killer? I mean, honestly, I think Creep 2 answers some of those questions a little further, but please comment below. I'd love to get some conversations going about this film and the character development. I'm very into character study type movies, and this is definitely one of those. So yeah, it just bothers me with Aaron because he had so many opportunities to end this situation with Joseph, and he doesn't. He just keeps going along for the ride. I don't get it. So Aaron cuts it open. He finds the locket that has J plus A on it, and it's got like their little pictures inside. It's like a little silver necklace. And now he's officially freaked out to the point where he's double bolting or triple bolting his doors. He's like, he's hammering the window shut. Now he's calling the police, and he's like, I need your help. But he doesn't have any information on him. He doesn't have his real name. He doesn't have his address. He figured out that the cabin was a rental. So he's like, no, I don't have this. I don't have that. I think his name is Joseph. He lies a lot, and they basically laugh at him on the phone, or I can imagine so. We don't hear them talk, but he's like, thanks a lot. You guys, I'm sure I'm going to sleep good tonight. You've done nothing. So Aaron continues to do video logs. He's not sleeping at night. He's having nightmares about Joseph. And that's Joseph's sort of mastermind sick tactic for getting in Aaron's head. Now Aaron's dreaming about this creep. This is a creepy scene. So he hears sounds. So he records himself talking about the dreams he's having. He jumps out of bed because he hears a sound from inside. And he grabs a knife. This kid is so panicked now that he grabs a knife and he's just like, who's that? Joseph? Joseph? He's like walking around the apartment, knowing that somebody's there, right? And he walks off camera for a second and you just see Joseph, Mark Duplass standing at the back door. I can't tell if he's smiling or not, but he's just peering in. It's very Michael Myers-esque. Very Michael Myers-esque. And, of course, Aaron turns around and he's gone. So Aaron even goes outside to look for him, doesn't see anything. He's like, oh, damn raccoons. Sure, they're raccoons, Aaron. Joseph sneaks in. Oh, yeah. So then Joseph sneaks in the next night. He actually cuts a piece of Aaron's hair. It's so creepy to watch. He actually cuts Aaron's hair, and he leaves another DVD there, right? Yeah, and I wrote this again. Aaron calls no family. He calls nobody to do anything about this. Now, the cops won't help him. This kid, he doesn't have a girlfriend. He doesn't have parents. He doesn't have, like, a sister. He doesn't have a friend that he can call and say, yo, I'm coming. I'm crashing with you for a couple days, weeks, until I have a stalker. Like, why don't you do anything? It's so frustrating. It's so fucking frustrating. Like, why wouldn't you stop this? Why would you let this go on? Why would you let this guy terrorize you? I don't get it. Okay, so he wakes up, he finds the DVD of Joseph's, it says My Last Video on it, And Joseph gives him this whole song and dance about how he's always had a hard time talking to people. He doesn't know what's wrong with him. He just wants Aaron to, he hopes Aaron's kindness is so big that he'll give him one more chance. And he's like, oh, see, there's no places for me to hide. We can meet in this park. It's safe. It's this. It's all this stuff. I just want to talk to you one last time. So Aaron looks at him on the camera. He like freezes it and he's like, what am I going to do? He's so sad. And what are you gonna do? Do what you should have done the whole fucking time. Stop feeding into him. Just stop it. He says, I don't know what's wrong with me. I have nobody. So Aaron agrees. He's like talking to the camera and he's like, okay, I'll meet you here. So he meets with him, or tries to meet with him, right? He goes to the park. The killer lures his victim. Aaron is the worst survivor ever. He's just like the perfect victim for somebody like this. He gets lured to the park. I guess he thinks it's safe, and he sets up his little speed dial on his phone for the cops if he needs it. And he thinks it's safe, and he goes to, this big open park, and he sits down on the bench. And yeah, we know how it ends. In case you don't know, for whatever reason, spoilers. Joseph stands behind him for probably a good, I don't know, couple of minutes at least. And he puts the peach fuzz mask on. Aaron is just reading or sitting there, whatever the fuck he's doing. And Joseph axes him in the head. And it's crazy. I was not expecting that ending. I thought Aaron was going to turn around. I thought something was going to happen. I thought somebody else was going to show up to save Aaron or whatever. Like maybe Aaron was smart enough to have a trap set. Like, I don't know, talk to somebody who knows a cop or something and trap, Joseph, like arrest him when he gets there. Like, oh, you could have done so much, man. You could have done so much to put this guy away. Why would you just go for his trap? I don't get it. Like, even Aaron's not even good enough for Jigsaw. Like, Jigsaw wouldn't even have fun with Aaron because Aaron's just too willing. He's too willing to be a victim. So Aaron gets killed. He's too kind, is what I wrote down. He is much too kind. He is much too kind. He doesn't have experience with people. Like, if you ever never dealt with people before, Joseph is so toxic and Aaron can't see it. Yeah, so I wrote, if you feel bad for the guy, if you truly feel bad for him, call some professional. It's another thing you could have done. Call a hotline. Call some type of psychology and have them, I don't know, come meet him at the park or whatever with you. Like, get him help. If you really believe every word he's saying, and he's saying he wants to get help, go get him help. Don't be the help, because you ended up the prey here, Aaron. Patrick Brice, though, gives us such a good performance, and I get it. Don't get me wrong, guys. I get feeling sympathy for another human being. I do. I really do. I just think that he could have gone about it a million other better ways than just continuing to do nothing to alleviate some of this or get somebody professional involved and just go right along for the ride. He's like, sure, I'll meet you here. Sure, I'll cut open the wolf stuffed animal. Sure, I'll continue to sleep in my house with nobody else around while I know I'm being stalked. Why? Get out of that situation. All right, I'm bitching too much about Aaron. Sorry. So then, Joseph watches the video, and he jump scares himself and jumps backwards. So he watches the video of him killing Aaron, and he talks about it looking at the camera, and Joseph talks, he reflects in him. He's got a pretty good monologue. Mark Duplass delivers quite a good monologue here throughout the whole film. He does, and he says a bunch of things, but one of the things he says, no matter what I ever did to you, you always thought I was good. You thought I wouldn't do anything to harm you. And that sent chills down my spine, because I feel like with that in mind, he was testing Aaron the whole time. He was just seeing how far he could push him. It's like a cat playing with a mouse, I guess. He's toying with him. He's seeing how far he can manipulate him, and Aaron never stops. He never does anything to get Joseph apprehended or in trouble. He never questions it, really. I mean, he does, but not enough. He's like the perfect candidate for Joseph. It's really sick. And Joseph enjoyed that. And he says, you know, this is why I'll always love you. You'll always be my favorite. And then we cut to the final scene where we see Joseph setting up his next victim, where he takes a different name. He calls himself Bill or something. He's like, yeah, buddy, job's this and that, you know, meet me here tomorrow. And then he opens his closet and you just see this whole stack of VHS tapes and DVDs and stuff like that, where he's talking about all his previous victims and stuff. So that's basically the entirety of the film. The other thing too that I liked about it was the end credits are a pretty stark contrast to the film, because the film has no score, and the end credits have this, I don't know what the name of the song is, but it's a metal song, and it's a nice little jolt. It's a nice little way to end the movie, I think. So yeah, that's Creep from 2014. And again, the reason I like it, one of the reasons I like it, aside from the style of it and everything, is Joseph really represents a lot of people that are out there. I mean, these people are lurking out there. He's definitely a sociopath or something, of some kind. And Mark Duplass does a really great job of delivering that performance. So I hope you guys like this review. Please comment below. Talk about your thoughts about it, what you think about Joseph, what's really wrong with him, what his issue is, and if throughout the film, if he's really trying to connect with Aaron, or if it's all part of his mind game. What else do I want to say? There is a sequel. There's a Creep 2, which I'll get to eventually. I liked it. I didn't like it as much as this one, but it does take the character in a different, he takes a different spin on Joseph, or I think he even calls him, he uses Aaron's name in that one. And he approaches, his character's approach from an entirely different way. So I'll get to that one. And what else do I want to say about it? Nothing much. It's definitely memorable. I mean, it's like 8 years old now, and it's good upon rewatch. I know there's potentially going to be a third one involved too, but I think it's in development hell right now. Duplass and Bryce are trying to come up with an idea, last I read, but there hasn't been an update in a while. So we'll see if it turns into a franchise or not. And yeah, it's cool to see Duplass's performance, because it's so chilling, you know. So I hope you guys like this review, and feel free to like this video, comment below, and let's talk about it. All right, thanks for watching.